I've been coming and speaking at these protests outside the White House to close Guantanamo for years now. I don't think there's any futility in that.
It was really hard to do this year. I've been doing it almost every year since 2005 or so. But then I think about these guys who are locked up for expedience. It's just not okay.
This is the anniversary. It's a time that people come together to protest, and I'm just not going to miss that.
Since 2005, I've continued fasting every Friday. Fasting establishes a certain spirit, a certain connection. It connects us to one another. It connects us to the men there who have used the only tool they have, their own bodies, to scream out by not eating, some to the point of being force-fed.
That they know that I'm stepping out and reading one of their poems is enough for me to say that I'm doing at least something.
Every time I put on an orange jumpsuit and then line up with other people and then put on the hood, I knew I was embodying someone who was a prisoner of my government.
It's easy to kind of forget that these are actual human beings because we're not allowed to see them, we're not allowed to talk to them, we're not allowed to hear from them.
By design, Guantanamo was created at an offshore prison, so it's out of sight and out of mind for many people within the U.S.
I see Guantanamo as a very specific historical legacy of the war on terror. I see Guantanamo as a place that extends the boundaries of the ways in which Muslims are treated. And I see that that has implications in everything else.
Guantanamo is connected to the cruelty that we see in the migrant detention space. It's connected to Islamophobia, it's connected to war. It stands for impunity, it stands for torture, it stands for injustice.
People are raised in this country to believe that the United States has some sense of decency, rule of law, that we're supposed to be this beacon for human rights. And this prison puts the lie to all of that.
It's very personal. My brother and nearly 3,000 people were murdered in the most public event to happen in the history of the world. Everyone knows what happened on September 11th of 2001. And still, no one has been held accountable for these deaths. There's a question of justice.
Today marks the 18th year since the opening of the prison at Guantanamo. 40 Muslim men remain held there, all of whom have been in U.S. custody for more than a decade.
We spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year on this prison to keep it open to hold 40 men who could either be released or could be detained in prison in the United States after a fair trial if necessary.
Our goal is to close Guantanamo. Our goal is to end torture as a policy of the United States.
What is the kind of justice we're willing to stand up for? And what is the justice that these prisoners want? And how do we help them?
We will.
Your spirit.